Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Challenger Face-Off. It is H2k versus N Faculty, and it is the grand finals, a best of 5. Today, it's going to be myself, Spuddington, and Broken Shard bringing you the action.
Hello, hello. I've taken a break from grinding out Warlords of Draenor to watch these two expansion tournament teams face off and cast with the lovely British Spuddington.
If you can say nothing else about me, it is that I am British. So I sometimes wonder, but we are actually into picks and bans already. Things are kicking off, and so far, Jace, Lisa, and Twisted Fate, Syndra, and Gnar have been banned out.
The Gnar ban, like I always talk about it, how if Gnar is left open, then there's a huge mistake. But what I really like to talk about is the Jace and the TF bans, which are both heavily targeted at Mr. Febivin over there. Two of his most played champions, and then they're taking away his third signature champion there by just insta-locking the Zed. The Syndra ban is targeted at Pure Effect. He's well known in high elo to be a Syndra player.
Yeah, that makes a certain amount of sense. And Febivin, of course, for those of you who don't know about him, and be surprised if you're following Challenger stuff and you haven't heard of him, but he is well renowned for being arguably, even if you include LCS mid laners, when Febivin is on form, arguably one of the best already.
Well, basically, Febivin is the third best mid not in the LCS right now. And if you take a look at the two mids who aren't in the LCS right now, who are up above him, first place is Incarnation and second is Nuke Duck. So when you're the third best player and you're behind these two powerhouses, then it's definitely saying something about you. I would definitely say he's the best player not in LCS who can actually play in the LCS. Considering that Nuke Duck and Incarnation are both banned right now. So Zed first pick followed by a Corki Kha'Zix. I like the Corki Kha'Zix. Both these champions, especially if you go W evolve Kha'Zix, have a lot of AoE damage. Kha'Zix physical, Corki magical. So there's a lot of wave clear, a lot of good ranged poke that they can do, and they're very versatile champions. They're good at chasing, they're good at poking, they're good at sieging, they're good at wave clearing, defensive, offensive. They're probably one of the best first rotation picks for purple side. Whether or not they'll transform into a siege comp, it depends completely up to them, because they're going to have to deal with a split pushing Zed. So if they don't pick someone who can split push versus the Zed, they might have an issue. Irelia could be a good pick for H2k later on in the order, since they already have their wave clear.
Yep, Irelia, one of the few that can, even in the reasonably late game, actually deal with Zed, and also is a very good team fighter. So we'll see if that does come out, and obviously if they do want to pick that disengage comp, kind of expecting to see the Janna here, but if they did that, would that open them up to anything?
I would expect Janna. The only issue with picking a Janna here is that it sets them up for a weak lane. They did insta-lock the Ahri and Janna. Ahri, not surprising. It's one of Febivin's signature champions.
Really?
The thing is, yeah, his Ahri is his signature champion.
No, sorry, I was looking at the Ezreal that they were hovering over for a second.
Oh,
I
I thought
thinking,
you weren't believing me. It's Febivin's Ahri. If you talk about Febivin, it's his Ahri. It's one of his favorite champions, his signature champion. He's very good in it. I'm a little bit concerned a bit for the bot lane, because Corki Janna is going to have a little bit of a hard time against Nami Lucian. The second I saw Nami, I instantly knew that they would be going for a Lucian, because Lucian Nami is probably one of the best laning lanes right now. And it does beat out the Corki early. But if the Corki and Janna can survive up to level 6 and do fine in the lane, at level 6 with the Janna shield, those missiles and a Sheen, he can really start putting the pain onto Lucian.
Yeah, even if you do get ahead of Lucian Nami though, and start pushing them back, you're never going to be able to stop them from getting at least a reasonable amount of farm out of the deal.
Basically Lucian Nami is they have the ability to completely wreck that lane and win it really hard by CS. Killing them doesn't seem likely, but it's more of a poke and out sustain lane. Lucian hits a power spike earlier than Corki with his BF sword, but Corki's Trinity Force is way more important of a power spike than Lucian's IE. Lucian's main power spike is when he gets IE plus second item, whether it be Shiv or Ghost Blade. It's comparatively stronger than a 2-item Corki when he gets those 2 big items. It looks like we've got a lot. You can never count out the possibility of a death, though, given that his kick is Rengar. I mean, you can never count on the possibility with a jungler gank, but 2v2, if these two players are playing fine, I don't see a kill happening. They're very safe lanes. That's the thing. But I like the Maokai pick for Odoamne. It's good against Zed in teamfights. It's good against Rengar in teamfights. Locks him up. And an Aurelia from Dazus is a little concerning because it looks like they really have no form of siege or consistent wave clear. They're just like a bunch of short-range champions just all going in. So if they don't get ahead, they will lose this game almost like instantly. Like there's no turtle mechanic for End Faculty. So either they're very cocky about the way that they want to play, or they're just not sure how to play defensive. So they go for very all-in melee champions.
We have seen them run a similar strategy to this before. I think they actually did this against Gamers 2 in their second game. They ran Irelia, and I think it was actually Zed as well. Double split push, and yeah, it does rely on you getting ahead early, but basically with a full AD comp, you need to do that anyway. So kind of makes a decent amount of sense to me, especially when it takes advantage of the comparative weakness of the duelists on their opponent's side. Regardless though, we are going to be going into a quick delay timer now, 2 minutes and 30 left on the clock, so do not go anywhere guys, we will be right back.
Whatever is calling, baby you know I'll turn around. Baby, you know I turn around.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are onto the Rift, as you can see on your screens right now, in the early stages of the game, before anything has really kicked off, and we do have a pause timer. So, Rokachard, how's things going?
There's a pause.
There is.
Not really much else to say. There's a pause.
So I guess, do you expect, do you expect any level 1 action here, I guess?
No. I don't think any level 1 might happen. No lane swaps. No crazy stuff's happening. But I'd be very interested to see how the mid lane goes, because Febiven took Ignite, and most of the time people take Exhaust against Zed. Though I've seen Aries do both Exhaust and Ignite, so it's, I guess, preference-based, but I'd be really interested to see how Febiven deals against Zed with Ahri. Playing on his signature champion, he's kind of the guy to watch. He's the champion right there on the team with the most play potential. When I say play potential, it's like the one that can really break through and just crack the game wide open. You got like a tank Maokai. Like, it's a tank. Not really much else to say about that. Corki, who's got some poke. Janna, defensive. Kha'Zix, relatively defensive. I'd assume he's going to do his W.
That would be the normal thing to do.
I mean, yeah, but I've seen people do Q as well if they'd like to 1v1. Though I think W would be really good for kiting the Rengar out, and that's kind of how I picture H2k want to play their game, is by kiting the engage of the Aurelia and the Rengar and the Nami wave out, and then just re-engaging with the Maokai, with the Ahri charm. Maybe a Kha'Zix jumping and slowing people.
Yeah, they've got a lot of stuff that can... Because if you're just running straight at this composition, you are going to take, what, Void Spikes, Corki Rockets, Phosphorus Bomb, Howling Gale, Charm, Q from Ahri. Like, there's so much.
And there's a lot of mixed damage as well. Because Kha'Zix is going to be purely AD and Corki's going to be mixed. If they don't build much armor, they'll probably get wrecked a lot by Hjarnan. He's shown that he knows exactly how to itemize Corki. In a previous game that we saw Hjarnan play Corki, he did Trinity Force BT into IE without buying his Sork boots until after his IE, because he knew that buying the Sork boots wouldn't be as important as finishing his flat AD items. Because that's what they needed. They needed an AD champion, and the Janna shield is going to help him do that. I'd like to see him go Trinity BIE, though, because the amount of burst potential with the Janna shield, with the crits, it's huge. And the team of Faculty are very, very squishy champions. Some might make the argument for Aurelia as a frontliner, but it's nothing compared to the Maokai tankiness.
It takes a long time to get tanky as well, because she goes for those offensive items first usually. Aurelia isn't going to get tanky until she's got at least a Trinity Force and then starts building into a Randuin's, and then she's got to finish those defensive items to be effectively tanky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Randuin's is actually going to be the top of his priority. I would expect a Banshee's Veil would be much more effective, but you're right. The Aurelia needs to have a Trinity Force so she can really bully people in lane. It's kind of her lane-winning item, and then after that, it just all depends. And like as I said earlier in this bot lane, it's really, really rough right now for Hjarnan and Voidal, because they're getting pushed out, getting poked out a little bit, and Mountain is just walking up and shooting his little wave at them because he knows that he's going to be fine. But we see Lulex making his way down here, putting a little bit of pressure. It's not going to do much, though.
Yeah, that big wave means they can... Bedouin and Mountain can just move forward almost with the wave, because they know if Lulex goes in here, he's not going to make much progress. He's
just sitting there. Yeah. I guess he's just letting Hjarnan farm. Kha'Zix doesn't need to make early plays. He's not an early game jungler as much as people would like to think that he is. His actual level 3 compared to other junglers it's considerably weak. What Kha'Zix does excel at doing is kind of doing a lot of like picking his fights well, and the Kha'Zix will do fine. He's more than content just farming up until level 6, getting his upgraded Void Spikes or Wings or whatever it is he evolves first. That's kind of when Kha'Zix becomes stronger. Though he doesn't necessarily need to make the early game plays, but Kikis taking advantage of the fact that they knew that Lulex was on the bottom side of the map and counter jungling away, so he won't be able to get much farm out of this at all.
Yeah, if he had more health, he'd probably use that opportunity to go behind Odoamne, and he might do it anyway, but nah, he doesn't. He doesn't have the ferocity for that heal. So, much as you'd expect, Aurelia versus Maokai in the top lane for now, going pretty much even. Bot lane, somewhat favoring End Faculty, 5 CS there.
Only very little. And it's going to keep going this way until Corki hits level 6.
And mid lane, very much a stalemate till 6, I think.
So Lulex is actually a little bit behind Kikis, who's now level 4. He's going to have to clear his entire jungle before he's going to find a camp worth clearing. He's not going to hit level 4 until after his white. Febiven in the mid lane finally chugs a potion. Purefect gets the benefit of starting with a longsword, so he's get 3 pots, whereas Febiven's only going to have 2. So that's kind of the way that Zeds want to play this lane, is force trades with the Ahri and try to win them, even if by a small margin, they'll end up winning in the long run because they got more regen.
And that is definitely the case. Once it gets to the level 6 mark, it all kind of changes and it becomes a question of how well Ahri
Skill
can...
matchup. It's a skill matchup. I mean,
Yeah.
Zed has to play very standard in this, but oh, Lulex gonna be
He just
found a
hit
little
4.
bit. Yeah, just hit 4. Kikis finds him, uses his ferocity stacks. So now Rengar is really like not gonna be able to fight the Kha'Zix without his ferocity stacks. Won't have 5 even if he uses all his abilities. He's gonna have to just retreat out of there. No jungler really wants to fight, but it's actually the Zed has an upper hand at level 6. He needs to just play standard, where the Ahri has to be the one to generate the outplay, land the charm. Avoid the Qs, because if Zed lands even a single Q with his ult, it really hurts the Ahri at level 6. Uh-oh, top lane.
Yeah, that was some aggression up
You
there,
heard the
but
ting, didn't you?
yeah, they both pretty much ran out of steam by the point their health dropped that low. They'd already used all their cooldowns, and Odwamne has no mana, as you can see. So he's going to use his TP, get back in, and I expect we'll see much the same. Lulex finding Kikis.
Kikis walking in and just clearing that ward now. Anyway, the thing about the top lane, though, when people start flask and you start a Doran's item, your objective is actually to push them in and then teleport to buy a second Doran's item. That's kind of how you win that lane, because they'll out-sustain you. But Odwamne is not really interested in trying to win the lane, more like get his items fast. So instead of teleporting and trying to build an advantage in the lane through early game snowball, he ends up just backing to pick up his catalyst when he has the gold, which I think might be the smarter choice. He doesn't necessarily need to win the matchup. Just try to keep Irelia in check until his team starts scaling up. Lulex is in a bit of trouble, though. If this Bola lands, he's dead.
He should be fine. He's got both jump and flash, like, realistically, yep. And it's going to cost a couple of minions going to the tower, but Febiven is there. We did actually see earlier on, just not that long ago, Doz trying to go for the all-in on Ahri, and not managing to get enough damage down to kill, but blowing his own ignite. So there is actually summoner advantage for Febiven now.
Yeah, Febiven backs and picks up a Fiendish Codex. That's going to help him a little bit with clearing the wave. He is a little bit under gold to the Zed, but that's nothing at this point in the game. Zed will have a Cutlass or a Brutalizer. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe a Hex Drinker. Yeah, Hex Drinker seems like the smart choice. So the Zed actually has pressure over the Ahri now, because the Ahri isn't going to be able to kill the Zed unless the Zed misplays. But he doesn't have enough damage to actually all in. And top lane, we see a fight going out. Xaxus turns on Heat 10 style and goes hard. So Xaxus has maxed his Heat 10 style. I think this was coordinated with Kikis, since we saw Kikis make no moves towards the top lane. Generally, if Irelia wants a gank top, he will have to start maxing his E. And we've seen Irelia's do that even in the Maokai matchups, just for the gank.
Actually getting quite a lot of damage down, though. And this is the way that lane matchup has tended to go in the past. It's pretty much a stalemate early on, but eventually Irelia gets to a point where Maokai just can't 1v1 her.
Yeah, if Irelia maxes W. Though we've also seen matchups where the Maokai is able to beat the Irelia because she spent time maxing her Equilibrium Strike instead of Heat 10 style. So yeah, the Heat 10 style definitely much better 1v1 potential. That's also why we haven't seen a Rengar make his way up top, because the ganking is not going to be easy. You don't have enough CC to lock the tree down.
Yeah, he's too tanky at this stage of the game, but they're going to be happy as long as Irelia never dies. They know that they're going to be able to take advantage of that power spike when she becomes... Like, it's like... Until Irelia is stronger in that one-on-one, it doesn't do that. She doesn't exert that much pressure. From that point onwards, she suddenly becomes a huge split push problem. Purefect is going to have to try and dodge it out. Lulex jumps in, looks for it, but they've got the lockdown. He has just not quite got his shadow out.
What a misplay from Purefect. That was pretty bad, honestly. He still has his flash. He could have gotten out of there without any issue, and Lulex managing to pick that kill up. He did go Wings first, and I like that. Wings against Zed is good because he has so much mobility and he's hard to lock down. But he's walking in. Oh, Kikis with the flash. They want this dive, though. He ults. Great force by Lulex.
That was actually really smart.
No, this was really good by Lulex. He forces the ult. Now Rengar has no ganking power.
Yeah, very much so. Xaxus continuing to bully out Odwamne in the top lane. Bit of aggression there, but the way that he just died there, Soz, probably going to cost him a lot. Can Ahri afford a needlessly large rod? No, but expecting
Morellonomicon could be. Like, I've seen Febiven do the Morellonomicon. He could also... he will go Sork Boots. He wants to push the advantage. A Seekers would have also been in good taste, though.
Yeah, that would have made it even harder. But at this point, does he even need to worry about the Z 100-0ing him?
You never know about that because the Seekers gives you more leeway to play more aggressive because if you take a look at the team comp and faculty, they're very purely AD. Lulex is not on a ward. Oh, the instant flash from Zazas. Yeah, he wanted to save his W for when Zazas flashed. That's fine. That's a flash burn. That means an Aurelia that plays less aggressive, less advantage. And, you know, Lulex has been playing the map smartly. Did fall behind a little bit early, but he's picked that up. He's forced the Rengar ultimate, so there's a little bit of safety for the next minute and 10 seconds. Still has his flash, has his lizard item, so he's spiking quite well. Did go for wings, so his actual combat effectiveness is a little bit less, but he's got a lot more mobility to make up for it.
So I don't know about you, Broken Shot, but historically, I've always been told that Lulex isn't the #1 jungler EU or anything like that. He's not generally well respected, but here he's actually putting in quite a good performance.
I think the main issue with Lulex is that he's inconsistent on champions that aren't named. Oh, kick it! Since he's got no flash, he's dead. He's dead to the Ignite. Here comes Lulex, though, coming in.
Wow. Got for the laugh there. Purefect is going to be getting himself out of there with the flash, but Lulex will be happy to take that little trade.
If that W landed, Purefect is dead, but he shoots it out well. Febiven outplaying both Kikis and Purefect there. Not sure what happened, but that was another kill for the mighty mid laner. We were talking a little bit about his Ahri, and you could see that no one who isn't comfortable on their champion would make a play like that. And now Lulex is the aggressor. But he's inconsistent on champions that aren't named Lee Sin, basically. He was considered a one-trick pony before he came into the competitive scene, playing only Lee Sin, but since he subbed for Gambit and started playing on other teams like SKP and stuff like that, he started picking up other champions like Elise and Jarvan. He still needs to work on his consistency on these champions, but it looks like I think we're looking at a good Lulex game here, a good Kha'Zix game for him.
Yeah, we did actually get to see his Lee Sin yesterday, and it was ferocious, but
it was dirty.
all that results in is a single ban. Normally, Kikis has ulted in on the bot lane using that. Will he get in range? Good net onto Voidal. Almost, I think he may have predicted the flash, but not going to be getting the actual kills here. Just the flash.
And that's kind of the way that the Janna lane works. She flashes, alright, then boom, ultimate.
You can't close that big of a gap, and actually in top lane, another aggressive play onto Zazas.
No flash, no dice. I would like to see him give this kill over to Maokai, because with the kill, Maokai kind of delays the oh no, the kill will actually go to Febiven, who walked up, and that's huge. That kill is way more important on the Ahri than it was on anybody else. So yeah, a lot of ping going out, and Febiven just walks right past the ping forward. Dragon does go down, but I think that is a trade that H2k are willing to make. Getting the Ahri fed, which is, like I said earlier, the win condition for them. It's working. 2-0-1, 113 CS, a little bit of a CS advantage, has 2k gold in the bank. Should have his DFG very soon.
Yeah, plus they got the mid lane tower, and with Febiven roaming up and Odwamne ready to set this up, Zazas still quite squishy. This is very, very likely to result in both another kill and another tower. Here it comes. Charm lands. Nice ult usage at close range. And Odwamne is just too tanky for Zazas to return fire.
Just great play from H2k. Pushing the tower down, Odwamne tanking. He knows what he's doing. Lulex setting up the blue buff, and this just looks like H2k. In a way, they're forfeiting their bottom side of the map since they know that their bottom side can outscale. Take a look at the CS numbers. Hjarnan is only 10 CS behind. And if you look at bot lane, it looks like they're winning a trade, though. Mountain has to use his ult. Hjarnan goes in, exhaust onto him, fights Cedrion. Will he go down? No, just a disengage and an all-in that looks like an H2k won.
Yeah, it does. And with, as you mentioned before, they're starting to get some good items, and the Janna shield gets so strong around this point. Level 8, level 9.
Yeah, he's
so much AD.
So yeah. It's a 220 shield, but 44 AD. And like I said, the rockets just make the world of a difference. Hjarnan will back and pick up his Trinity Force, and that's the power spike that they were looking for. They push the top lane turret. Febiven has DFG. Roa picked up for Odoamne. Trinity Force on Corki. This is just like the Red Sea parting right now for H2k. They've hit all their power spikes at the exact same time. And now it's their turn to start pressuring the map and start making plays. How they'll do that, I'd like to see Corki go to a solo lane to push it alone and have their really strong solo laners push their advantages a bit more.
They've got a lot of options right now as well because they've taken down both mid and top tower. Purefect is going to be tanking a lot of damage. No way out of this one. Deathmark used, but achieving very, very little.
That's Febiven right there. That was... I don't know. I see him copy this. Like, the thing is that I would say that Febiven and Nukta are probably identical players in so many ways because they spend a lot of time talking about the game, playing together at the same amount of elo. They pick up on each other's tricks, and that right there is classic Nukeduck, is what he did a lot in Season 3 Summer when he was on Lemon Dogs, and that was just greatly played by Febiven. Picks up another solo kill onto Purefect. Has a 100% kill participation this game, and Zaz is getting dived in top lane.
Very, very nice. Again, cleanly done. Odwamne flashes out, drops the tower aggro, and all this time Febiven is pushing down bottom. Actually, there is another fight. Voidal has been rooted, so Cedrian does get himself out as well. Kikis still alive, but it's a kill, and I'm not even sure they're going to be able to take the tower off that.
No, they won't, because look how low they are. Yarnan did so much damage. I'm saying that if Maokai had enough HP, he would have TP'd down there, would have been a double kill in return for H2k, but they're just going to give up that kill, and like I said earlier, they're forfeiting pressure on the bot side of the map to push the Ahri and the Maokai ahead.
Purefect really doesn't look very comfortable on Zed right now.
No.
Weird living shadow.
If we're talking about one-trick ponies here, a lot of people consider him to be a one-trick pony on basically just Syndra. Maybe a Yasuo as well, but Febiven seemed very confident to let him have Zed in exchange for Ahri. And I just kind of feel that doesn't matter what champion Febiven will play, he'll be able to muscle out Purefect if he doesn't get the jungle pressure. He's not anywhere near a Blade as well. He had to go Brutalizer after the Hex Drinker, so the Zed is on quite far behind.
Yeah, he is really, really struggling. A lot of it came from that. I mean, he went for that early all-in attempt, didn't make it work, and from that point onwards, Febiven knew he was stronger in a one-on-one and used that to push him around. Created a lot of opportunities, and now he's got so much map presence, he can just roam around wherever he wants. There's not many wards.
Ooh, that charm landed. That's a dead Rengar. I actually think that Febiven was in a bad position actually after the all-in, because the first item was a Hex Drinker, which is good against Ahri. What really fucked it up, fucked it up for them was that he held onto his flash a bit too long and ended up dying to the gank. That's where the Zed lost all his pressure.
So, Purefect down, Zazis down. Like, the only real hope spot right now is Cedrian, but it seems to actually be getting worse as time goes on for them. And perhaps Kikis, he has been farming a lot. 23 stacks on the Feral Flare, shortly 24. So perhaps with that, they can start assassinating people, but can you assassinate if you've got no wards?
So Corki now has the upper hand in this lane with the items that he has currently. The Trinity Force, way, way, way more effective as a standalone item compared to the IE. It'll be up until he gets his Yomu's Ghost Blade that Lucian will have a disadvantage. Once Lucian gets his Ghost Blade, he'll be stronger than Corki until Corki finishes 2 major items.
Yeah, so it's basically a case, because IE, the reason Infinity Edge is a strong item is because it multiplies your other stats, whereas Trinity Force is just like a big block of damage that's just adding it on.
So basically, it's kind of a game of back and forth right there between the two. If you compare their item thresholds at different points, Fade Sheen compared to BF Sword Pickaxe, the Lucian is stronger. Trinity Force compared to IE, the Corki is stronger. IE plus Shiv slash Ghost Blade compared to Trinity Force plus a BF Sword and a Pickaxe, the Lucian's stronger. And they kind of just give it back and forth to each other. But what neither of these players have been able to do is take their advantage and make something like big out of it, you know, like take it to the next level and push the advantage so that they constantly remain ahead of the game. If anyone's gonna do that, I'd say it's Yarnan. I think he's just a little bit better of an AD carry than Cedrion is, and now he's starting to pull up a CS lead.
A large part of the problems, though, even if Lucian was actually doing really, really well, you know, even if he was like 3-0 up, and actually Corki did just die, so that is certainly a good situation for them, especially with Dragon up. But as I was saying, one of the problems I'm seeing for them here, because Febiven is so strong, their whole split push strategy is going to fall apart.
Just take a look at where Febiven. Here's the TP. He's flanking from the side. They are nowhere near.
Oh! Oh man, that is a disaster. So many people hit by the Orb of Deception. Febiven putting out a ton of damage. They are caught between a rock and a hard place. Perfect is there, but can he even assassinate Forbidden? He's going to try, but he just jumps out instantly, doing almost nothing. And with that, he jumped. Okay, so Lulex there jumping back out over the living shadow that did end up killing him, but Zazas has put himself one step too forward and will be dropped here. Kikis, last man standing, left defending the tower. He may be able to hold it, but nah, abandon ship.
So that was a really good fight for H2k. Great flank from Fevivin. A small misplay cost Lulex his life, but I think he'll be okay with that because that is a turret going down to H2k. 5k gold lead. Hjarnan joining with the team. They will not. I don't think they'll do the Drake, or they will, but there's no jungler. Yeah, this could easily be stolen away by Kikis, who's still around, but he has no flash and has to walk over to get it.
There is even a ward in the pit, but Kikis doesn't seem to be interested. He's not having any of that.
I don't think he knows. He thinks he can steal it because he has no flash, no ult, no real way to approach the Drake without dying. And that is a solid 6k gold lead now in the favor of H2k. And a huge item pickup from Fevivin. Picked up his death cap now.
Oh boy. That is quite a lot of AP for this stage of the game. 423, in fact.
420?
Sadly, not exactly. I mean, if he just optimized his masteries a little better, maybe he could have had exactly, but not right now. And actually, hello, End Faculty. This is actually something we've seen them do before. These cunning, sneaky barons, and in this situation, there may be no other way back into the game. They're trying.
Lulex has a feeling. I think Lulex knows something's up here. No, he has no idea. He's walking right past them. Oh no, he sees them. Lulex, put the wall down!
He's not found it.
Oh my god. Lulex,
got it, and they're going to get Lulex too. They're going after him. Oh, well, maybe not, but wings being a very useful thing for him. And this is the kind of style in Faculty play. They have problems individually, but they are a clever team.
That was... I don't even know what to say about that. That was just taking advantage of the vision control. They did a sneaky Baron, picked that up, and that's going to be able to remedy the fact that they're a little bit behind. But
doesn't matter if
like
Zazas gets caught.
Like we said before the game started, was that they had no real turtle mechanic. They really had no way to defend their base. Not very consistent wave clear. I guess the culling is okay, the Zed Shadow, but it's not as effective as, say, a Corki. And even though they have the Baron buff, there's nothing they can do to protect the Spirit.
Especially with no Cedrian, that is not an option for them. So even though they've got that Baron buff, they kind of need to fight with it, or they are just going to drop down. Like, as you said, no comeback mechanic. They're just going to fall further and further behind unless they go for an all-in, or unless they can, get that split push pressure going. But they have never had an opportunity. Like, anyone that extends out alone so far from in Faculty has just been almost immediately cut down by H2k.
Yeah, this, there's not really much now. They've managed to pull the gold lead back up to a 6k. Fevivin basing for the blasting wand, so there's the dream of the 420 is dead. It's now 509.
I don't know. I don't think there are any other numbers he can really aim for. I guess 1337, but that might be tricky.
That might be a little bit hard for an Ahri. He'll need an Archangel Staff, and that's not a very good item for Ahri at all.
I believe.
It's a terrible item.
Just sell all your items now and start working on tier number 1.
So Corki realizes that he's behind, opted to go for a Last Whisper build, which I like, because there's no real need for him to match the damage of Lucian. Kind of just provide supportive damage for his team, for the Ahri, for the Kazakhs, who are quite fed right now. Kazakhs looking like he's aiming to build a Last Whisper, which is also really good. Should have it very soon. That makes his Void Spikes do tons of damage.
Yeah, so I can dig the Last Whisper on Kazakhs, but I'm puzzled by it for Corki. Oduamne is A-OK. Kikis is waiting, but even if he went for it, I don't think they could have killed him before he got to tower.
I think Oduamne would just like walk out of there.
He's got 248 armor.
Yeah, he has a Frozen Heart and a Chain Vest on top of that. I'm not sure what Kikis is doing then there, but Kikis, man, this ain't gonna work. You should know better, man.
And there's nothing they can do because he's just going to keep stacking armor. Like, this situation is not going to change.
No, they need Last Whisper. They can do that.
Yeah, that's true. But by the point that they've done that, he's going to have another 100 armor. Like, it's just... He's going to be almost unkillable for the majority of this game.
The more armor that he has, the more effective Last Whisper is. So
That doesn't change the fact they're
I
still
mean, yeah.
going to do very little damage.
On paper, yeah, like if you build more armor against the last switcher. Uh-oh, it looks like Kikis wants to go in, gets slowed out, poked out.
Can't get in.
Nice... Oh, the Charm Lance!
Nice disengage, and the re-engage is on for Bivin. Wants to go in for this. He's still got that charm available, and one more dash. A lot of damage goes on to Peel Effect, and a nice flash in from Odwamne will lock him down. They continue to follow this up. Lulex looks to get the jump from his reset, but for now it looks like it's just going to be 2 deaths, and the siege is on.
What a great turnaround play from Val. Oh, the flash hit from Centurion!
Wow, that was aggressive, but I just don't think he had the damage there. Full stop.
I'm not sure what that was about, but a great turnaround from Featherman. And he's really the catalyst of this game. Been setting up plays, has 10 kill participations. That's 10 out of 11 right there. Very, very impressive stuff coming out of the Dutch mid laner.
He is very, very good. I mean, the only concern you could ever have about putting Forbidden in your team is whether or not he will perform under super high pressure. Because remember, in the promotion tournament, I favored H2k to win there, and they just did not look like the team we'd seen in Challenger stuff. And in fact, we have a surrender. Kikis laughs, and that is the game. Can't blame him, honestly. It was a full AD comp versus a team that was basically reliant on split pushing, that was against a team that was so far ahead of them, had gotten so tanky and so high damage as well, had complete map control. Very little that could be done there, but I think we'll actually be going into a quick break right now. Might be coming back for an analysis segment in between games while we get the players into the lobby, but we'll come back to you at some point in the near future regardless. So guys, don't go anywhere. Follow the channel, bottom left corner of your screen. We will be right back.